Welcome back to our Slamdance 2024 coverage here at First Reviews, and it is my great pleasure to be sitting here with Ravit Markus, talking about her documentary, Nina is an Athlete, with the film's subject and star, Nina Gorodetsky. The movie follows Nina's journey to the 2020 Tokyo Paralympics. How are you guys today, first of all?
Good, good. I'm a little bit tired. I just got back from an amazing week at Slamdance, got my new shirt
Uh-huh.
of this year. So it was exhausting, but incredible. And
So
Nina,
let's
how are
start.
you?
Yeah, Nina, how are you?
I'm okay. It can be better, but I'm okay.
Surviving, huh?
Yeah.
Surviving, yeah, of course. Well, we're glad you're here with us. I wanted to ask, first of all, what's the experience been like premiering the film, the festival experience at Slamdance overall, and especially representing Israeli cinema right now?
First of all, it's a great honor to be representing Israeli cinema, especially at a time like that. And especially that it was the only Israeli film in both Slamdance and Sundance. So it was a little sad that that was the situation, but it was also a big pride. And the reception was nothing short than incredible. I wish Nina was there. I know she would be embarrassed, but people just loved her, loved Dor, her spouse, loved Leon, her coach. They just
Yeah.
couldn't get enough of them. They laughed at every joke that the three of them have because the core of the film is their fabulous banters. They laughed at every joke. They cried when it was emotional. They cared. They wanted Nina just to achieve all her dreams. And that was the main thing. And it felt wonderful to have such a warm reception. And there have been great reviews all over. I think Nina didn't even have time to read them, but slowly we'll get them through.
That's lovely. Another honor that you guys had was, I believe, this was the first time para badminton has been made a sport at the Paralympics. I believe they said that in the film.
Yes. Nina, you want
Um,
to say, how was it that I ended up deciding that we should make this film, me and my sister-in-law, Levi Kessel, who's also Nina's sister-in-law. That's the connection, by the way.
ah,
It's very cool. It's a family project. And
right.
we luckily, Levi and I started filming just when it turned out that it's going to be an official event at the Tokyo Paralympics for the first time. And maybe Nina can talk a little bit about that as her feeling as an athlete when that happened.
Right. So
Eh,
Nina,
I
was
will
that how was that? Was that like, did that make it even more meaningful? That was the first time the sport was a part of the Paralympics. Was it more frightening, or did it just feel necessary that this is what you're doing?
for me it was I don't know how to explain because it never was an Olympic. For me it was a all time just a world championship and the European championship, and it's for me it was good enough. And then it was start the Olympic. I was like, okay, maybe I will try to get a ticket. And if it's not, it will be okay. I will be okay. Now, when I was there, it was like, okay, it's Olympic, nice, nothing special. I didn't feel something special. And then I come back home and I thinking about now, I say, wow, I was in the Olympic. I think it will be my first and the last time, but it was great experience. And it
Um,
was different Olympic because of the COVID. It was a little bit
yes,
different.
yes, of course.
Very different because no audience.
No audience. You guys
Yeah.
didn't even
Nina's
know it was
family was
happening for a while.
Yeah, Nina's family was not allowed to come. Usually they would come with her to such an exciting event. And every athlete was only allowed one person. So Leon, her head coach, came, Leon Pugach. And I was worried at some point. I was like, will we be allowed to come film? But we were, at least that was possible, even though there were a lot of limitations. It definitely made it difficult. I was not allowed in the Paralympic village. Only there was this area where we were allowed to meet. And even there, they kept saying 6 feet, 6 feet. And they were
Yeah.
really watching us like hawks. Nina is a rebel. So she said, ignore them, your family, come give me a hug. but they were really looking at us. And so it was sometimes challenging, but we were able to kind of steal little shots from different spots to get closer and get more intimate with her. But definitely not being able to shoot in the Paralympic village was, in the beginning, a major disappointment for me. Eventually, it's okay. We're not missing anything, but we got what we needed. And Nina still shared with us her emotional journey there. And that's all that mattered.
So when you guys embarked on this journey together, Nina, did you have any reservations about some of these very intimate moments being documented? What was that trust like that you had to build while you were working on this film?
When Livy asked me if Ravit asked her if I will want to, איך להגיד שכל אחד, שכאילו מישהו יעשה עליי את הסרט, איך אני אומרת את זה?
Someone will make the movie about you.
Yeah, and I say like, okay, it's family. I will say yes. And then the filming for me, sometimes it was hard because I hate to see myself on the video. And now I hate to speak about it. I feel so embarrassed. And after a couple of months, it was okay for me. But I always thought it in the end, it will be the movie not come out and no one see it because I'm not interesting enough. And then when she told me, yes, the film is going out, and I say, really? Oh. And I see the movie, and for me it was for me it's very hard to see myself in some of the situations.
Right.
The first time I wanted to show Nina the film before I show it to the whole world, it felt fair just to make sure she's comfortable with it. And before I even start, she said, and then it was still a little bit longer. I showed her the almost fine cut, but was still a rough cut. So she said, what? 90 minutes just about me? What's there to watch me for 90 minutes?
And so, now all my friends see on Facebook, and I don't have a Facebook. And everyone send me a message on WhatsApp. Nina, you have a movie about you? Because I didn't say to anyone. And I say, yes, even to my brother. He was so surprised. But yes, and everyone wants to see it. And I'm so embarrassing that I say no.
So Ravit, could you talk about what was that first drive you felt to tell this story and why as many people in the world needed to see this story through Nina's eyes?
So I admit that I started with a very shallow plan. I just wanted to make a sports documentary, and I thought it'll just be cool. That's all. And then I thought, but I need some athlete, like a successful athlete that I can have access to. And luckily, just as I was thinking that, Nina's mother-in-law, who's the mother of my sister-in-law, Levy, just texted me and said, oh, and her name is Edith Kessel, fabulous woman. And she just said, I'm so proud of our Nina. She just won another medal. And I thought, I have that athlete. I have access. Let's see if there's a movie here. So I talked to Levy, my sister-in-law, and we decided to set out on this journey. But of course, first Levy just went to film her a little bit to see if Nina and Dor are, first of all, good on camera, if we have a good story here. And then we found out that, first of all, Nina and Dor, as shy as Nina feels, are fabulous on camera, just natural movie stars, as is Leon Puget, her coach. They're just so fun to watch, so human and warm. And their candidness and humor just passes through beautifully. And that was one important part. The other important part was that, first of all, there was this just clear narrative of somebody vying for the Paralympics, and will they, won't they make it? But then turned out there's all these inner struggles that Nina had, as thinking that she actually also wants to have a baby at the same time. And obviously a pregnancy is not ideal when you're for intense training. So having this inner struggle makes obviously a character more interesting and more relatable. So the story just got a few more layers. And then as we got to delve deeper into her story, there were all these other layers of what makes her an interesting person, which is also her immigration experience, which is a very important part in our film. And lastly, the pandemic came in and threw everything into a spin, but actually it had an interesting spin on Nina's story. Obviously, I don't want to put a spoiler here. I'm hoping everyone will watch the film to find out how it turned out.
Of course. So para badminton is not actually something that too many people have great knowledge about. Could you talk more about the world of para badminton, first generally, as well as the support you had from the para badminton community in Israel?
So the Israeli Paralympic Committee, especially Ron Boletin and Nissim Sasportas and all their team, have just been wonderful. Without them, I wouldn't have made it to the Paralympics to be able to film Nina. Really such beautiful support. I'd love Nina to talk a little bit about the relationship and I don't know if there's really much of a para badminton community in Israel, right? It's mostly
yes, we just three people. Two boys and me. But we have the all support. We fly to all the tournaments, physio, doctors, coaches, you name it, we have it.
So Israel really believes in what Nina does. They're very proud of her achievements, and obviously it can't be possible unless somebody makes sure you're in all the tournaments so you can win medals and keep going. And that was beautiful to watch. Definitely when you said kind of my interest in the film, obviously there is a very important aspect of the disability and disability inclusion. And again, because Nina was able to have such wonderfully candid, blunt conversations in front of the camera with her very non-disabled circle, it actually enabled us to have this candid observations about what it's like to roam the world as a disabled person. And Nina can take on anything. And that was just a pleasure to watch, but definitely she's age defying, but also prejudice defying. And that was very important for us in the film.
Yeah. On that subject, I feel like candid Israeli responses or comments on anything are very reliable, usually very truthful.
Absolutely. The directness is always key. Some people even said, wow, some of the scenes are just too crass. And I said, that's what I love. That's what I want. And I think that's a big part of why we were not just accepted to Slamdance. And I want to show my fabulous postcards. I don't know if I had a chance to show them to Nina. We had a pink and orange version. But these blunt conversations, I think, were a major part of why we were accepted to Slamdance, particularly to this wonderful program that they have called Unstoppable, which highlights films by or about people with disabilities. And they wanted that honest discussion, because when you have an honest discussion, everything can open up. People can experience views that they were not aware of, confront their own prejudice, and work through it. But the beginning is to have an honest discussion.
Absolutely. Nina, this is a question for you. So the film depicts your identity as an athlete and as a mother, often very intertwined in your journey to the Paralympics. Looking back at this period in your life now, what do you feel you learned about yourself during this intense period of time and this intense journey?
Yeah. I don't know if I learned something new, because I knew that I can do everything I want. אני יכולה לדבר בעברית?
אני
אתרגם אותי?
Ravit, you can translate after.
כן.
סבבה. אני לא יודעת אם זה משהו שחדש שלמדתי. ידעתי שאני יכולה לעשות דברים, כן? אבל כשמסתכלים כאילו באמת כאילו לאחור, אז שלא נשברתי בדרך, נורא מפתיע אותי שגם הגעתי לאולימפיאדה, גם ילד, ועוד ילד, וכן כאילו שלא נשברתי, שלא ויתרתי, שגם כשחשבתי שאין לי סיכויים,
So what she's saying is that looking back, she doesn't feel she learned something new about herself because she really believed in herself from the start that she can do it. And I always say that her belief that she has a seat at the table always was one of my favorite parts about her. But looking back at her life over the last 4 or 5 years and the film showing it, she is amazed that she didn't just break during it, that she just kept going. And basically that tenacity is definitely one of the things that resonates the most with people who watch the film. Her tenacity as an athlete, as a human, as a mother, as a woman, just not giving up, a disabled person. That is kind of what she's surprised of herself too, that there were moments when it looked hopeless, but she kept going. And that's definitely a big part of the film. I will say
it's universal as well.
Yes, absolutely. I always say every woman and every athlete can relate to these aspects of her story. What I always just want to add that a lot of times when I talk with Nina about a major important part of the film, which is that biological clock ticking, how do you feel about getting closer and closer to 40? And Nina always said, oh, it's not a big deal. It is what it is. But in the film, you see kind of this, when her dad says, oh, why didn't he win first place? And she says, I'm too old for first place. But then
I remember that.
When Doris says to her, well, you're getting old, this might be your last Paralympics, she said, who's old? You're burying me at 40? So I love it because that's what I could relate to, our complex relationship with age. Acceptance, but then moments of defiance. You know, we're not done yet at all. And Nina, never.
So last question also for Nina, but both of you can throw in. So one of the most heartwarming moments is when we see Nina coming home from the Olympics and getting a beautifully warm reaction from her kids at the school that she counsels at. Was there anything else we didn't see at the movie that was just amazing reception from your journey to Tokyo and back?
את תתרגמי אותי.
אוקיי.
טוב, מה שהיה בבית ספר, כמובן מביך ביותר, ואני לא אסלח למנהלת שלי על כך.
She says that school scene where all the kids are just clapping and calling Nina and Nina was very embarrassing, and she's not going to ever forgive her school principal for arranging that surprise.
ואני חושבת שהכי הפתיע אותי כשילדים, חלק מהילדים כשקיבלו לעשות עבודה על מישהו שמקבלים ממנו השראה, יש ילדים שעשו עליי. שאני וואי, כאילו, יש כל כך הרבה אנשים יותר מעניינים וחשובים ממני, אבל הם עדיין בחרו לעשות עליי, אז ככה, קצת החמיא לי.
So she says, but still later, some kids were asked at the school, were asked to write works about people, papers about people that inspired them. And to her great surprise, a bunch wrote about her. And she thought, oh, there's so many more interesting, more impressive, inspiring people than me. But at the end, she was flattered that they chose her. And that's very cool. You'd never told me that, Nina.
That's wonderful. So to conclude, can you tell the people watching where Nina as an athlete is going to be continuing its festival run? Is there anything in the works where audiences can eventually see it?
So I did apply to a bunch more film festivals. So it would be great if everyone follows me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. It's all the same. Ravit Markus, RAVIT MARKUS, for updates where the film will play next. I don't have any confirmed dates, but there is interest. So hopefully this will lead to a wide tour. Obviously would love to collaborate with any relevant organization of adaptive sports that is interested, badminton clubs, any film club around the world that would like to show this film. That's the main thing. Getting independent films out there is tough. So hopefully we will get more and more interest. The same, I try to publish everything simultaneously on Nina's Instagram, so she's out there too. Hopefully her fans can see it as well, but that's the best way. Yeah, just to Google or follow me.
Perfect. Ravit, Nina, thank you so much. It's been lovely sitting with you and discussing this journey that you embarked on together that others, many strangers, are now able to share with you as well.
Thank you very much for
Thank
having
you.
me.